All right, my friends. Public speaking tip number 37. Always, always, always start with the end in mind and get started today. You see, once again, we're talking about facts, figures, quotes, and anecdotes. We're talking about doing the research to make your presentation good. And right now, you should be in that stage where you're starting to craft and make your presentation awesome. Are you? Awesome. Well, here's what I want you to do. And if you haven't already, if you've already started, you may have to pause in your research a little bit, and you may have to go back. But here's what I want you to think. I want you to ask yourself this question: how do I want my audience to feel? You see, we're starting with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. When you finish your presentation, when your presentation is done, all right, how do you want the audience to feel? How do you want them to feel? Okay? You've thought about it. That's how you want them to feel? Are you sure? Now, tell me this. What do you think you need to do? What type of information do you need to share with them to help them feel that way? Do you need to share uplifting, inspiring information with them? Or do you need to share sad information with them? Do you need to share information with them that's going to help them to feel as if they can change the world or change their life? What type of information do you need to share with the audience to get them to feel that way, to get them to feel the way that you want them to feel when your presentation is over? What type of information? All right. Here's what you want to do. I've broken this up into 3 steps. I'm going to make this one extremely simple for you, okay? 3 steps. Extremely simple. Step 1. Here's what I want you to do. Step 1, I want you to decide how you like the audience to feel, act, and behave when your presentation is done. Decide how you'd like them to feel, act, and behave when your presentation is done. Okay? Step 2. I want you to think right now. I want you to consider. Think about this. Think about it. What type of facts, figures, quotes, and anecdotes do you need to share with your audience to get them to feel the way that you want them to feel, or to do the things that you want them to do at the end of your presentation? What do you want the audience to do? What do you want them to take away or take home? Right? Do you want them to, what's your call to action going to be? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to take a certain type of action? Now, I want you to put more thought into that. This is important. Don't skip step 1. Don't skip step number 2. Okay? Because now I want you to go to step 3. Once you've decided how you want the audience to feel, act, and behave, once your presentation is over, you've thought about that, and you've put good thought and consideration into what types of facts, figures, quotes, and anecdotes you need to provide your audience to make them feel, act, or behave in that type of way. Step number 3 is simple. Go out and find the information to do the job that you just said that you wanted to do. And if you do this correctly, if you order your information in a correct fashion from point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, if you do it correctly, by the time you're done, your audience should be acting, feeling, or behaving exactly the way that you intended. Now, it's going to take a little bit of practice. You'll have to do a little bit of fine tuning, or you're going to have to work with a coach or someone who can help you and advise you on a regular basis in your strategy and your technique. That's what I do. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love you. You know what? Working with speakers, when we get to this stage, it's kind of like when I used to be back in the military back in the days, and we'd go into the war room. And in the war room is where we would strategize and figure out what we're going to do to bring home the victory. Yeah, it's where the fun happens. We started to figure, okay, if we move this piece over here and this piece over here, and we put a troop over here or a platoon over here, heavy guns and weapons over there, and we cut off the path here, here's what the enemy is going to do. In your case, it's not the enemy, but in your case, here's what the audience is going to do. If you lay out the facts, figures, quotes, and anecdotes exactly as we've prescribed, here's the result. Victory. Victory. All right? Now, let me finish like this, because often I say, share a story, make a point. Share a story, make a point. share a story, make a point. Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think now, every time that I say story, I want you to replace story with facts, figures, quotes, or anecdotes. Share a fact, figure, share a fact, figure, quote, a story, or anecdote. Okay? Fact, make a point. Quote, make a point. Anecdote, make a point. And don't forget the anecdote is a story. Make a point. You share a fact, give us a reason. Why? Why is that fact important? Why is it important and why is it relevant? You share a fact, a quote. Why is that quote relevant? How is it relevant? How is it applicable to your presentation? Let me know. Yeah, let me know. Let your audience know. You do that. Fact, figure, quote, anecdote, point. Fact, figure, quote, anecdote, point. And here's the deal. You don't need all of them, right? I don't need a fact, a figure, a quote, and I only need one. I only need one fact, 1 point. One quote, 1 point. One figure, 1 point. I hate when I see very smart and intelligent people put a statistic, or they put facts or bars and graphs on the board with 100 different points. No, listen. One fact, one quote, 1 point. Make it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. All right? You do that and you've got it. That's public speaking tip number 37. Always start with the end in mind. And get started today collecting your facts, figures, quotes, and anecdotes. And I'll see you on the next video, my friends. All right?